Today, I'm going to discuss the recent arrest of a crew that was heisting jewelry stores in Manhattan. I covered the arrest in my last blog, but I want to go over some more details. Scores of heists like these were common years ago, before all the cameras, license plate readers, and people with cell phones filming every little thing. So in present day, to go out and knock off a jewelry store in broad daylight is not only a cowboy move, it's ballsy. Or as some people may feel, it's plain stupidity. In regard to the jewelry heist, the guys involved were far from amateurs, but definitely made amateur mistakes. For instance, on January 2nd, the day before they committed one of the robberies, Frank DiPietro and Vincent Sergio were caught on a surveillance video in Manhattan, casing the area, and wearing the same clothes that they would use to commit the robbery. DiPietro's last name is actually pronounced DiPietro, but everyone in the street pronounces it DiPietro. In this picture, they're seen talking to a traffic cop on Fifth Avenue. The last thing you want to do when you're either sitting on someone or casing a place is to interact with any kind of law enforcement. And as a result of this picture, the NYPD was able to use digital face recognition and match their faces. On the morning of January 3rd, 2023, members of the heist crew were again captured on security cameras stealing license plates near Fort Hamilton Parkway in Brooklyn. After which they traveled into Midtown Manhattan in two gray Fords, an Escape and an F-150 pickup truck. The pickup truck's plates were registered to Vincent Spagnolo, who was caught on surveillance cameras on Madison Avenue, not far from where the robbery took place. Notice the jogging suit jacket he's wearing. A month prior to the robbery, on December 3rd, Spagnolo was pulled over for a traffic stop. The cop who pulled him over was wearing a body camera, which filmed him inside the F-150 wearing the same jogging suit jacket that he wears on the day of the robbery. That robbery took place in a Midtown Manhattan jewelry shop named Baco Jewels, which was on Madison Avenue. At around 10:22 a.m., just as the employees were stocking the display cases, DiPietro and Michael Selleck entered Baco wearing construction safety jackets. DiPietro announced, "Give it to me," while pointing the gun at an employee. Selleck told the employees to get in the closet. I'm not sure if he took their cell phones, but he should have at that point. They came away with a 73-carat necklace, a 6-carat ring, and 17-carat earrings. The second robbery took place at the Diamond Queen on Elizabeth Street in Lower Manhattan. The heist crew pulled up at 9:30 a.m. and parked two cars on Elizabeth Street, a white Hyundai Elantra and a black Infiniti QX30. At 10:27 a.m., DiPietro and Selleck entered the Diamond Queen. Selleck ordered the employees to the ground, while DiPietro filled a black duffel bag with jewelry. Immediately after they left the store, the employees alerted the police. At 10:30 a.m., the police began chasing the Infiniti, which was driven by Samuel Sauce, the getaway driver. Sauce abandoned the car on Montgomery Street and fled on foot, but NYPD officers caught up with him a few minutes later. They questioned him and took his picture. I guess they didn't have much to hold him on, and they let him go. The second getaway car was used, driven by Spagnolo. When the police searched the Infiniti, they discovered in the back seat New Jersey license plates and an orange and yellow safety vest. New Jersey police license plate readers captured the same Infiniti parked in front of a Florham Park home belonging to Sauce's family. Also, after a check of the car's registration, it came back being registered to a Bridgewater, New Jersey address linked to Sauce. In addition, investigators matched images that Sauce posted on social media to the photo taken of him on the day of the robbery. This past Tuesday, on June 6th, the police arrested Frank DiPietro, Vincent Spagnolo, Vincent Sergio, Michael Selleck, and Samuel Sauce. They were charged with one count of Hobbs Act robbery, conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery, and brandishing a firearm during a robbery. Supposedly, Spagnolo was the only defendant that received bail. It's been reported that the heist crew is linked to organized crime families, in particular, the Lucchese, Gambino, and Genovese families. I'm not sure who's associated to who. However, there is a history with Frank DiPietro, who's called Skip, with the Lucchese family. I'm sure many of you who've watched Sammy Gravano's podcast heard him tell a story about Georgie Rush Zapola, a member of the West Side, the Genovese family, and the shooting of a Gambino associate, Nicky Cowboy Momando, which was carried out by younger associates of Zapola. These same younger guys were plotting to hit Gravano, and that plot was exposed by Genovese associate Robert Scarpacci. As a result, the Genovese family killed Georgie Rush, who's actually related to Georgie Nex Zapola of the Lucchese family. Subsequently, Gravano sat down with Chin Gigante and explained his intentions to kill the younger guys involved in the plot, who happened to be two brothers. Chin explained that they were Rocco and Frank DiPietro, sons of Carly DiPietro, who was a member of Chin's family that was killed and whose body was never discovered. According to Gambino, Chin asked him to give the brothers a pass, at which time he took the opportunity to request the same favor for Scarpacci, who he fully knew Chin would kill for going to another family and exposing what he did. On May 8, 1991, the Lucchese family sent a hit team to kill one of their captains, Pete Chiodo. He ultimately survived, even though he was hit over a dozen times. Chiodo was taken to St. Vincent's Hospital in Staten Island. The Lucchese family came up with Plan B to finish the job. According to Al Diaco, the former Lucchese acting boss, they persuaded a female nurse someone knew at the hospital to help them. On a specific day, the nurse walked Frank DiPietro, who was wearing a doctor's coat, toward the corridor where Chiodo's room was. Nonetheless, they couldn't get near the room, which was heavily guarded by law enforcement. Supposedly, DiPietro was supposed to stab Chiodo to death. Gaspipe Castle brought up the same incident, but mentions another person in the hospital who was dressed like a doctor. However, a lot of the things that Gaspipe said is debatable. During my time in the street, it was known that Frank DiPietro was on record as an associate of the Lucchese family and was with Georgie Nexapolo. I believe he had just gotten out of prison, and there was talk about straightening him out, inducting him into the family. He has an extensive arrest history, including a RICO indictment in September of 1998, where he was charged with over 50 counts. He pled guilty in March of 2000 to racketeering and narcotics trafficking. Supposedly, DiPietro, who was part of a Lucchese farm team, the Port Richmond crew in Staten Island, learned that a fellow crew member, George Van Neem, testified at a federal grand jury regarding drug dealing. And on November 20th, 1990, DiPietro and Anthony Lafredo lured Van Neem to a secluded area in the Bull's Head section of Staten Island and shot him. His body has never been discovered, and during his plea, DiPietro admitted to firing the shots that killed Van Neem, and he was sentenced to 19 years. His brother Rocco was with us in Fishkill. He was doing time for a murder he committed in Brooklyn, which involved him shooting a guy who was trying to be a peacemaker in a Brooklyn bar. One day while we were in Fishkill, I was with Thomas D'Ambrosio, a Lucchese member, and he happened to overhear Rocco referring to Rafi Cuomo as a junk pusher. Rafi was also a Lucchese member and a childhood friend of Thomas. So Thomas grabbed Rocco and gave him a tongue lashing over talking like that. He told him, those words get back to the wrong ears and you could get a guy killed. And Rocco was very apologetic. After Rocco got out, he was inducted into the Genovese family, and presently he's a captain with them. He's involved with an ice company called Uncle Louis G, which many of you probably seen all over New York. And it could very well be that Frank DiPietro was released to his brother in the Genovese family. Usually, if one brother straightened out with a family, he could request to have his brother, who's associated with another family, to be released. As I mentioned, the Lucchese's was supposed to straighten him out, but it's possible now he's a member with the West Side. Regardless, with this recent arrest, he's got bigger problems to worry about.